Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of the camera for the Galaxy S5. So this is a really great camera and it has some hidden gems in it. So I'm going to show you how to get to every mode and how to navigate through it. First of all, Samsung did very much so simplify this. You have your camera and camcorder buttons right there on the front. You don't have to switch between them, which is a big thing once you have it. Just gonna go back. You have your switch to your front camera. So let's just do that. Hey. And then you have your HDR mode, your selective focus by default as the main two. Over here, you can look at the photo you've taken, and over here are the different modes. Now, the interesting thing about this is these are all the camera modes. To get to the camcorder modes, you have to go in a different section. So for the camera modes, the additional ones are beauty face, which gets rid of all acne, blemishes, wrinkles, everything like that. You have shot and more, which is a really cool combination of Samsung's old photo features. So this combines best face, best photo, eraser shot, drama shot, and one other one that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But really nice for that aspect. You also have panorama, virtual tour, which is amazing for real estate people. You can literally give a virtual tour of a house that typically costs a lot more in order to do right on your phone. Dual camera, animated photo, which literally sends a small animated photo that's called a GIF, for those of you that are familiar with it. Sports mode, this is still seems to be a better one for when it comes to fast taking photos. And surround shot. Now, as you see, these three had little arrows on them. That's because you can download more modes. And you can continue to download more as Samsung comes out with more. These were the three that were available at the time, so that's what I downloaded. Now, when we go into the settings section right here, we see a bit of other features. So right here, we have, oh, my megapixel went down for some reason. 16 megapixel camera. And this does do it in the wide aspect, which is 16:9. So it'll look perfect in your screens and your tablets and your laptops and your TV. 4:3 is the more traditional one. So if you wanted to put it in a photo frame, you would typically put it in a 4:3. You have a burst shot, which if you turn burst mode on, all you have to do is hold down the camera shutter button and it will take them instantaneously. You have picture stabilization, which is only meant for night shots, and I can't stress this enough. You only want to use the stabilization for low light shots. The reason is because of the fact that it lets through more light during this mode, which will give you blurry or hazy shots when you are not in a low light setting. So that's why you want to leave that off unless you're in a low light setting. Face detection, which is something you always want to have on simply for the fact that you're going to take clear photos that way. ISO, unless you know what you're doing with ISO or metering for that matter, do not change it. Just leave it as automatic because it will get it faster than you will. Tap to take photo is very simple. Obviously, if you just have that on, you just tap to take the photo and it's pretty quick at focusing. So I don't see that as such a bad thing instead of tap to focus, but it's up to you. Selective focus, we'll go over in an in-depth video because it really is an important feature to know about. The high definition video is standard to 1080p. I would leave this as the standard. It really is the best one for day-to-day usage. You can do UHD, but unless you have a 4K TV, no one will ever notice. Recording mode is the more important one actually, because instead of normal, I always recommend using smooth motion. It's a far superior video quality and it really stands out. It will be part of the 10 hidden features of this device video. So make sure to check that one out to see how good of a quality this really does. Video stabilization is, again, something you do always want to have on. This does not distract from the low light feature. The only thing about video stabilization is that, as we saw here, if you have video stabilization on, you can't have burst mode on. So it's something that something that usually turns off when I turn that on, but at this point it's not. So just something that usually you can't have on both. Zoom audio zoom. So audio zoom is meant to amplify sound from a specific area and kind of get rid of all surrounds around you. This is really good when you have a noisy area and you have one person talking and you want to hear them. That would be the ideal portion for that. In the effects area, this is something that a lot of people don't know about. So this is a live view effect. So as you can see, if I move it, you can see different live effects on there, which is really nice. You can scroll up to see all of the effects. I've downloaded a couple of others because you can manage the effects. So you can choose the ones you want to have and which ones you don't really care for. So you can get rid of the ones that you don't see as necessary, and then you can add more just from downloading. Now, some of them cost money. The majority of them are free, but I don't know. For the ones that cost money, I don't see a real distinguish difference between them. Flash, I always have it off unless I need it. You can't have it on auto, of course. Timer is self-explanatory. It's time to take a shot. HDR. So HDR is, again, another one where we will have an entirely separate video on because it is such a bigger topic. And most people don't know when to use HDR. So I'm going to go over that in a separate video. You can tag exactly where you take all your photos, your storage, where you want your photos to be saved. By default, when you put in a memory card, it will ask you if you'd rather put it on a memory card. Review your photos and videos automatically every time you take a shot. Remote Finder, this is meant to work with Samsung's devices that can use it, so that's how it's meant to be used. Auto white balance, just leave white balance and exposure. Again, standard unless you know what you're doing. Grid lines, I typically say leave off. And voice control is a really great feature because it's really easy to take a photo by saying capture, cheese, smile, or shoot, and it takes it very nice and quick. As you can see, really great quality. I find that that's one of the best things to do for taking a photo. It just makes a lot more sense. Also, the volume key now by default takes photos instead of zooming in. To zoom in, you still just zoom in like this, and that's how you zoom in. So other than that, the only other thing you really want to know about is going to be for the video taking feature. It is going to be allow you to pause during the video or take a photo during it as well. This is something that before you couldn't do when you had video stabilization on, but on the S5, it looks like they figured out how to do it. Now, if you pause it, it will still be one file when you start recording again. And if you stop it, that's the end of the file. All right, that was a walkthrough of the camera for the Galaxy S5. If you guys still have any questions about it, feel free to ask. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.